Probably the only thing nature abhors more than a vacuum is a human, but people are resilient, and not even nature's harshest punishments can kill us every time. Here are some amazing tales of people getting pummeled by the wilderness and living to tell the tale. We often hear stories of the animals in Australia that want us dead. For Ricky Megee, however, no Australian critter was worse than Australia itself. As detailed in The National, in January 2006, Megee was driving through Australia's Northern Territory. 3 men waved him down, claiming they had no gas. Then they slipped a drug into Megee's drink, robbed him of virtually everything while he was passed out, and threw him in a shallow grave to die. Once Megee awoke, he was alone, had no working phone, no water, no food, no shoes, and no hope. After 2 days, he was forced to start drinking his own urine, and didn't eat anything until the 5th day. He eventually found a dam with water and such culinary delights as raw frogs, lizards, and leeches. Later, after several rounds of heat exhaustion and dehydration, he found a better dam with more water. He stayed there for almost 2 months. Finally, after 71 days, Megee was rescued by nearby station hands who just happened to be surveying the area. By that time, he had dropped from 230 pounds to a skeletal 99 pounds, making his survival nothing short of a miracle. In 1985, Joe Simpson and his friend Simon Yates were climbing the Sula Grande peak of the Peruvian Andes. They made it to the top, but then trouble started on the descent. Simpson fell and destroyed his leg just before an unexpected blinding snowstorm hit. If you've never tried to scale a mountain with a broken leg, don't. Yates attempted to rescue Simpson by tying him to a rope and gradually lowering him down the mountain. That worked until, as Simpson told People, he was accidentally lowered over a deep crevasse. Yates held onto the rope for over an hour, but he was steadily sliding toward the cliff and had to cut the rope to avoid going over. This sent Simpson plummeting into the crevasse, but Yates had unknowingly saved his friend's life. Simpson crashed through soft snow, breaking his fall enough to keep him both alive and conscious. He then crawled 6 miles back to base camp. Along with the broken leg, Simpson lost about 42 pounds on the mountain, but he came out living and went on to write a best-selling book about his ordeal. Teenage buddies Tommy Hendricks and Matthew Smith were hiking in November 2016 when everything went wrong at the worst possible time. As they told Backpacker, they were halfway up the 1,200-foot Cross Couloir when a snowstorm arrived a day earlier than expected. The deep snow, blinding storm, and incoming darkness made climbing down impossible. They couldn't climb down once at the peak either, since it was pitch black and they couldn't see any paths. With 50-mile-an-hour winds and temperatures reaching minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it was all they could do to keep frostbite at bay. They somehow survived the night, beginning their descent the next morning. The problem is, they went the wrong way and had no cell reception. They were also without food and were getting increasingly soaked. They were succumbing to hypothermia when a chopper arrived and then flew away. The boys finally gave up and tearfully accepted death. Luckily, the chopper returned an hour later and picked them up. Maybe the chopper pilot could have dropped them a note explaining the chopper needed to refuel. In 1981, Yossi Ghinsberg was traveling with 3 other people through the Bolivian Amazon. After a couple of weeks of rough conditions, the group split into 2. Tragically, one half was never seen again. Meanwhile, Ghinsberg and his friend Kevin headed off in a raft. It went fine until they lost control just before a waterfall. Ghinsberg was sent flying over the waterfall, now totally on his own. Ghinsberg told the Jewish Chronicle that for 3 weeks he just did what he could to survive. He lit bug spray to create a makeshift flamethrower and ward off a jaguar. He swiped eggs from nests and ate them raw. But overall, he ate very little and was regularly attacked by all sorts of nasty creatures.
Oh. Great, it moves.
By the end, as he confessed to the Sydney Morning Herald, "I would have eaten human flesh. With hunger at that level, it's just energy. It's beyond disgust." Amazingly, his rescue happened almost completely by accident. Kevin, his rafting buddy, had survived and was looking for him but thought he had failed. So he landed his boat to turn around and just happened to land exactly where Ghinsberg had collapsed. That's the definition of luck, though the grit and toughness needed to last that long is nothing short of Hollywood-worthy, as proven by the 2017 film adaptation starring Daniel Radcliffe. August 6, 2014 was supposed to be just a regular California fishing day for Mike Vilhauer, at least until he ran out of bait. He decided to head into the woods to catch grasshoppers, but he lost track of time, and when it started getting dark, he realized he had no idea where he was. He was forced to use branches for shelter, and by the next day, hunger and dehydration had taken over.
I had to do my own version of the Survivor Man, the idiot's version, with drinking out of puddles.
By the fourth day, he had reached his limit. He was cold, weak, exhausted, starving, and was running out of ideas. He found his way to a stream and began carving out a goodbye to his wife on a piece of wood. He also spelled out help using tree needles, one last stab at making sure his goodbye wouldn't be necessary. The next morning, a search team finally found him. They'd been looking for him all weekend, and perhaps the biggest search and rescue mission of the year. The moral of the story: get your bait before you go fishing. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.